Good evening and welcome to our episode 77. As always, we will start with our gratitude attitude. So if you would please gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, feel all your stress leaving your body. Take one more deep breath. This time, completely let yourself go. Now, think of one thing that you are thankful for that happened in the past week. Once you have identified that, think about why you are thankful. Why here is a lot more important than what. And now let's set it free. If you're by yourself, say it out loud. What you are thankful for and why. If you are with someone, tell it to each other. Okay. So we're going to continue with our karma series. We talked about types of negative karma in the last couple of episodes. Today, let's talk about the severity and effects of negative karma. Sometimes we feel that the response to our negative action is not proportional to the action itself. But not every negative karma results in similar suffering. The degree of suffering depends upon the power of our action. And the power itself depends on 6 different factors, including the nature of the action, meaning karma, the intention, the method, the object, how often the action is committed, and the application of opponent. I know that's a lot of words I'm throwing at you. So let's look at each one and understand what it means. First, the nature of your action. Some negative karma is more severe than others. And we briefly touched on this during our previous sessions, right? For example, killing is a lot more severe negative karma than idle chatter. So if you recall the 10 negative actions, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, hurtful speech, idle chatter, and so forth. The degree of severity is in descending order, meaning killing is the most severe and the idle chatter is the least severe. So next factor in suffering is intention. For example, to kill in a violent rage is more hurtful and harmful than to kill in mild anger. But then I don't know anybody who would kill in mild anger, right? If you're lying for the sake of lying or lying to hurt someone, has a different response when it comes to suffering, right? So one is a lot more severe than the other. Method is the next factor which affects degree of severity. How we perform that action. For example, killing an animal swiftly, right, with less suffering, versus killing an animal with sadistic, slow and painful death, which has a lot more severe consequences when it comes to suffering. Object is also an important factor. If one kills someone who has been kind to them versus someone who is a total stranger, it has a lot more severe implications. Similarly, if someone repeatedly commits the same offense, it has higher consequences as compared with a one-time offense. And the last factor is application of the opponent. And this is actually very important. This means that one commits a negative action, but along with that, they also perform positive actions which reduce the severity of your suffering. So those are all the factors which affect, how one suffers from negative actions. But now let's talk about what is actually the effect of negative action, meaning in what way your suffering may manifest, how it will come back, right? What goes around comes around, how it is coming around. There are three effects: the ripened effect, the effect similar to the cause, and the environment effect. So let's look at each one individually. The ripened effect is a simplest way to look at it, in a sense that it's true cause and effect. I hurt you, you hurt me back, it's over, right? So this is where effect of a negative action is rebirth in one of the lower realms. For example, one can take, rebirth in animal realm. And if that happens, that's a ripened effect of a negative action or negative karma. And it will never show up again, meaning that negative action is completely wiped out from your slate. So ripened effect is the best. That means you're done with it. The effect similar to the cause has two types: tendency similar to cause and experience similar to cause. This is again effects of negative karma, right? How the karma affects us. Tendency similar to the cause is a compulsion. And this is what most of us suffer from. For example, we know that we are prone to certain type of negative action, even when we realize it is wrong, right? But instinctively, sometimes we end up committing those. This in turn creates more negative actions, and it keeps up with that vicious cycle, right? Some people are prone to anger, for example. Essentially, the effect makes it difficult for us to avoid rebirth in lower realms, because it prompts or taunts us to keep making the same mistakes over and over again, right? You have noticed that some kids, they tend to kill bugs, right? And that's a tendency similar to cause. For example, tendency similar to sexual misconduct is being attracted to someone else's partner. What we have here are tendencies that make one create negative action, and then those actions will ripen in the future. So again, that's a choice, right? Tendencies do come up, but if we are able to bypass those tendencies, then it washes away those previous negative karma. Experiences similar to the cause are different for each negative action. This is very important. This is very interesting, actually. For example, if we had killed in the past, right, and not again this life, it could be any previous life, then the experience similar to the cause is a short life full of sickness. By killing, we shorten another being's life. So in return, we are experiencing ill health or shortened life. Experience similar to the stealing is lack of wealth and possessions. Makes sense, right? I mean, on an intellectual level. Experience similar to sexual misconduct is separation from your friends and families. Experience similar to cause for lying is that no one trusts us. Divisive speech is difficulty creating harmonious relationship, because by devising speech, we have affected their relations. Hurtful speech is people say bad things about us. Idle chatter is that no one takes us seriously, right? I mean, these are all opponents, if you will. Experience similar to covetousness is that our desires are not fulfilled. Malice is that we are prone to fear. And holding wrong view is that we have great confusion. So those are all, tendencies and experiences similar to the cause. The third effect of negative action is an environmental effect. This means that our living environment is affected, not us personally. It does us personally, but where we live obviously has a personal effect on us. For example, the environmental effect of killing is poverty. Stealing is that we live in a barren area. Sexual misconduct is we live in unsanitary conditions. The environmental effect of lying is that we live in a place that is hard and inhospitable. Hurtful speech is that we live in an area with dense undergrowth that can sting our body. Idle chatter is that we live in an area where crops don't grow. The environmental effect of covetousness is that we live in an area where resources are easily destroyed. Malice is that we live in a war zone. Holding a wrong view is that we live in a place that lacks water and other basic necessities. So as you can see, negative action ripen in different ways. To sum up, the worst way it can ripen is birth in one of the lower realms, such as the animal realm, right? Effects similar to the cause give us tendencies to perform similar negative actions, or it can provide us poor life experiences. The environment effect makes our surroundings difficult. So that concludes our discussions on negative karma. Next week, we'll begin to look at positive karma and its effects. So in today's meditation, we'll begin, as always, with settling down at our hearts. Once we are settled, let's contemplate the effect of negative karma. And I know very similar to what we did last week. How negative karma will bring future suffering. We'll also contemplate that our negative karma can ripen in many different ways, from rebirth in lower realms to tendencies similar to actions to environmental effect. Once we contemplate that, let's make a determination that will abandon negative karma. And like last week, if you don't want to make that as a general statement, pick any one thing which you think you have tendency to do, right? And then make a commitment not to perform that negative action for a limited amount of time, for a week, for a day, for a month, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then we hold that determination single pointedly as long as we can. If we lose our determination, we go back to contemplation and bring the determination back. So that's the plan. If you are ready, let's begin. Get into your meditation posture, cross-seated position. If you are sitting in a chair, keep your legs straight. Make sure your back is straight, spine upright, shoulders leveled. Gently close your eyes. Keep your mouth just a little bit open. This way, any stress you have accumulated in your jaws will dissipate. Put your palms in your lap, right over left. Thumbs gently touching each other. Now, take a deep breath. As you exhale, relieve all your stress from your muscles. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, see your stress melt away. Take one more deep breath. This time, feel the relaxation in your entire body. Now, bring your attention at your nostrils. Feel the cool air as you breathe in. Feel slightly warmer air as you breathe out. Keep your attention at your nostrils for about a minute or so on your own. Now, bring your attention at your heart. Imagine everything that happened before this moment melts into light and disappears. Things that have not yet happened are not real anyway. So it is just this moment. Experience the peacefulness of this moment. Let this peaceful moment bring the next peaceful moment. Remember, there is nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Just enjoy. Now, let's contemplate all the negative karma we are creating. Will bring future suffering. We don't know when. It could be this lifetime. It could be another lifetime. We don't know how. It could be the form of a rebirth in lower realms like animals. It could create similar tendencies in this lifetime. It could create effects similar to cause. Or it could show a poor environment to live in. The best way to avoid this future suffering is to avoid committing negative karma to begin with. Contemplate that for a minute or so on your own. Now, let's make a determination. I must avoid negative curve. Single pointedly focus on that determination as long as you can. If you lose your determination, go back to contemplation and bring that determination back. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Any questions? No questions? All right, I'm going to stop recording.